Hi, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful week and a fantastic Friday. Weirdly enough, it feels like I haven't been here in a while, even though it was just last Friday. I think, Jeb, I was so used to Brad being out of town or at conferences, and I was getting to do live weather impact. Yeah, so much. But we're back, and we are thankfully talking about really mostly positive forecasts heading into the weekend because we have one dry day, a little bit of rain, which we desperately need. And of course, it's that time of the year where it is perfect time to get outside. And with that being said, the number one thing that if you are going to do any kind of fall activities this weekend, if you can, go to the mountains, try to see some of those colored leaves. I mean, it's fantastic. It's perfect. I really don't know how much more to say it. The fall leaves just get you in a fall spirit. And right now we're about 5,500 feet and above. We're starting to see color that is now past the peak, but places like Sugar Mountain, Howard's Knob, Ginger Cake, all the way really down to Banner Elk, they're smack dab in their peak right now. Blowing Rock, Banner Elk, you're in high color, which means your peak is the next week, week and a half. And then boom, down toward Jefferson Valley Cruces, so about 2,500 to 3,500 feet, are probably going to see their peak within the next few weeks. I myself, not to be selfish, I'm really excited about this because in typical TV person fashion, we don't oftentimes work weekends, don't really get the week, Saturdays and Sundays off. So Wednesday and Thursday of this week, Jeb, I'm going to Blowing Rock to see some leaves. So I'm really excited about that. I'll let you guys know how it is. I'll bring lots of pictures to Live Weather Impact next Friday, if I remember. I'm actually really bad at picture taking since I try to be in the moment, since I'm on my phone way too much in normal day-to-day life when I'm like at an event, and then I end up, not having any fall pictures or, any pictures at my best friend's wedding. Yeah, they're in my mind. But then it's like, you go to an event like my friend's wedding, and I'm like, why did I not take any pictures? Different story for a different day. Again, current leaf color is great up in the mountains, here locally in Ashwaubenon, Avery County, but also all across western North Carolina. So think any place that was impacted by Helene. If you have an opportunity to get out over the next few weeks and support that local tourism, please do so. Beautiful shot here from Beech Mountain, Buckeye Lake. I mean, look at the fall colors. I feel like Brad used this picture a lot this week, and I certainly will too because it's one of the best that we have. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And speaking of the mountains, Banner Elk this weekend. Woolly Worm Festival is back. If you missed the Weather IQ that Becca Birdsall did earlier this week on the woolly worm and kind of the history, you should definitely go to our YouTube page and check it out. I think that you guys did also show it on Live Weather Impact, so if you were here earlier this week, you probably did see it. If you are heading to Banner Elk this weekend, cooler again Saturday morning. Saturday morning will actually probably feel similar to what we felt this morning, since here in Charlotte tonight we're in the 50s, they're in the 40s, 70s in the afternoon. A little bit of rain returning for really most of our area on Sunday. I did lower the rain chances for the mountains because I think although they are higher than us locally, I don't think they're going to be widespread, which is what some of our model data was showing earlier. So if you have the WCNC Charlotte mobile app and you saw a 100% chance of rain, just know that I have lowered that because I certainly do not agree with 100% chance of rain. The reason why we've been so dry, of course, is high pressure overhead, but yesterday it was right over us, so we were getting that north to northeasterly flow. Now it's shifting a little bit further south and southeast, which if you look at the high, I'm going to draw on here if we can get it to work. Sometimes these things are a little finicky. But because of the position, there we go, of the high, we're now getting more of a southwesterly flow, which means that the moisture, the warmer air is coming in from the south and southwest. So think places like the Gulf. Depending on the position of the high, sometimes this is the blowtorch in the southeast that we hear oftentimes during the summer when we get those really, really hot days. So again, position of the highs and lows and the cold fronts and where the air is coming from oftentimes determines what the air mass is bringing us. So of course, earlier this week it was cooler and drier. Now it's a little bit more humid, and again, temperatures won't be quite as cool this weekend. Futurecast showing very, very clear conditions on Saturday. Again, I'm not worried about any rain for the majority of the area. Sunday morning looks pretty good for any of those early church plans, but by 11 o'clock, 12, I think we could start to see some areas of rain in the mountains, and then closer to 2 and 3 for the metro. Now, cautiously optimistic, right, about this rainfall potential. I know we've talked a lot about the drought the past few days. Very different Sundays with both a chance for rain, and hopefully I do a good job of explaining this. Last Sunday, the nor'easter was just off the coast, so we saw hours and hours of light rain before it actually reached the ground, again because of that dry air near the ground. This weekend is going to be different. It's an approaching cold front, so the rain is not going to be as widespread, but at times it could be heavier. Now, does that mean that we'll see better chances for light to moderate rain? Not necessarily, but I do think we have a better chance that it will reach the ground, but a lesser chance that everyone will see it. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. There's 3 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we'll see a few more downpours, and then by about 8 and 9, it's pretty much out of here. And then like clockwork, like it has been the past few weeks, months, we're dry again into early next week. I'm very optimistic, but cautiously optimistic that we will have measurable rainfall. Right now in Charlotte, looking at about 1/10 of an inch. Could get lucky closer to the foothills with around 1/4, and then the mountains would probably be at the best chance because of closer proximity to the front before it does start to weaken. We still need a lot of rain. We've only gotten about 31 inches of rain so far this year. I know that seems like a lot, but our average is between 43 and 45 inches. So up to right now, we're about 5 inches below normal. I will remind folks that it's not as much about the yearly rainfall, but when we had it. So the last time we really saw significant rainfall was in August. And so it's the long proximity since we've seen it that really, really does start to matter. Locally again tonight, we'll see very, very comfortable conditions overall. 50s for lows, 40s in the mountains. We're about 5 to 7 degrees warmer than where we were this morning. So again, it's still chilly, just not quite as chilly. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon, reaching the 80s. It is going to be a fantastic weekend for any outdoor activities that you have, but this is the first home series of the season for the Charlotte Checkers. So forecast check-in, see what I did there? Will be very, very comfortable, clear skies. Heading to the game, going home from the game, no weather-related issues expected at all. Quick update here on the tropics. We have 2 areas of interest to watch. The one at the top is a non-issue. Second one is certainly something we're watching because of its proximity to the Caribbean. That is still an area that we do watch this time of year if you look at our tropical climatology. But I will remind folks that we are inching closer and closer to the end of hurricane season, which means 1, don't let your guard down. But 2, thankfully, we're getting closer to the end. So there's October's typical paths, and you can see November's are very close to places like Hispaniola and near, just south and near of the Bahamas. And typically those do go out to sea. But I mean, just last week, the week before, we had Hazel's anniversary, 1954. And then, of course, Hurricane Michael, which was October 10th. So just about a week ago. Here's our 7-day forecast locally from Jerry Hunt Supercenter. Again, lots of things happening this weekend. Checkers, you can see Charlotte 49ers, App State both have homecoming on Saturday. Charlotte FC, I'll be at OMB in Ballantyne Saturday morning to MC the Charlotte Vision Walk. So if you're interested in trying to fight blindness, please come out and support. Lots of sunshine again the majority of the day Saturday. Drier Sunday morning before we see that small chance of rain. And then perfect weather for the rest of the week. Another home series for the Checkers next weekend. We're going to go to a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back with Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley and a fun guest. We'll be right back.